Today we are talking about something called mandatory volunteerism. Yes, that's an oxymoron, but it may be coming to your nonprofit soon. A new idea popping up in some states right now imposes a work requirement in order for people to keep their eligibility for Medicaid health benefits. Whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, that's a hot topic. Regardless of where you stand on work requirements, there is a part of it that you need to know about. And that's the part of the state programs that says people who can't work must volunteer at nonprofits to fulfill that eligibility requirement. Nonprofits need all the volunteers they can get, right? What could be wrong with getting people on Medicaid to volunteer at nonprofits across the country? Well, actually, there's plenty wrong with this idea, and that's why we call it mandatory volunteerism. It's because, as I said at the beginning, it's an oxymoron. You're making someone volunteer. So why do we think mandating that people volunteer is harmful? First, nonprofits want committed volunteers. Nonprofits need people who show up and want to do good. We don't want or need people to show up and do time. Second, there's something that the policymakers don't seem to realize, and that's that volunteers aren't free. It takes paid staff to supervise volunteers. It takes time to train volunteers. Some services, like working with children, require background checks, and as these state mandates are being set up, it will take additional paperwork and record keeping to satisfy additional government regulations. Those are all costs imposed on the nonprofits. And no politician ever thought to ask nonprofits whether we think this is a manageable or a good idea. And third, policymakers are assuming that nonprofits will take anybody they can get. The truth is, we only want people who care passionately about our missions. As a counter, we encourage them to include volunteering in their state offices as qualified volunteer hours. If the scheme is good enough for the nonprofits that are dealing with our community's greatest challenges, then it goes to show that the mandated volunteers are equally qualified to help elected officials. Now is the time to tell your governors and state legislators not to impose mandatory volunteerism on the people and nonprofits in your state. You don't need to take a position on the overall work requirements if you don't want to, but take a few minutes today to help protect your nonprofit, the people you serve, and the value of voluntary volunteerism. Pick up the phone today and call your policymakers now.